Welcome to Improv for the Podcast. On this week's episode, we're joined by Marty Simpson, who will tell us all about her improvisational journey. We'll play a couple games and most importantly, learn how she improv'd her life. Let's hit it. Welcome to Improv for the Podcast. I'm your host, Michael Lee Evans. And on today's episode, I'm joined by the incredibly talented Broadway performer, psychotherapist, Marty Simpson. Marty, thank you so much for coming on the show.
Thank you so much for having me. I feel so honored to be here with you.
It is an honor to sit down with you. I mean, this is the first 95 plus degree episode. You know,
Wow.
There were a lot of firsts today. The first Broadway performer, first 95 degree episode. This is, thank you for setting these milestones with us.
Oh, absolutely. Such a privilege to be here with you. You're so talented. I've loved your work in the shows. I have so much respect.
That's very kind.
Yeah.
Thank you. And I appreciate you coming to see the shows. I know you did a show recently as well, back in February, right?
Did.
Yeah, maybe we'll talk about that in a little bit.
My first improv show.
Ooh. I mean, it's gotta be a little easier than Broadway, right?
In some ways easier and in some ways more difficult. Yes.
Okay.
They're just two different beasts, two different things. Yeah.
Okay. Well, I want to hear more about that in a little bit. But I'm looking at this sign here, Marty, and I'm wondering, how do you know this place, Old IFTP?
Well, I've been taking classes at IFTP for about a year, maybe a little more. I think I started in March, and now it's May. So
Yeah.
And I just did a search for Saturday improv, and that's how I found it. My son had started doing improv at another studio, and he did performances about once a month.
Oh, okay.
So I was going
Yeah.
to see those performances regularly, and I just got so jealous of him having so much fun.
Yeah.
Doing
Like,
that.
wait a second. Yeah.
I want to do that too.
Yeah.
So I did a search for Saturday classes and found IFTP.
Oh, okay. So who's your first teacher here?
My first teacher was Benjamin.
Benjamin.
Awesome.
Mr. Roth. Shout out, Mr.
Great.
Roth.
So much fun in his
Yeah.
class. He made it so safe for me to show up and for everybody to show up. Just played games and, got us right into it from day one, and just had a great time. I was in his class for about 8 months.
Okay.
And then I switched to Matt's class because I wanted to get a chance to work with somebody new too.
Yeah. Keep you on your toes.
Totally. And it's so great. I've had class from Benjamin, Matt, and then as subs, Liam, Gavin, Jamie,
Wow.
and Ava.
So you've had everybody.
Is that everybody?
Yeah.
I've had everybody.
Yeah.
And they're all amazing. They all bring something, fresh and
Yeah.
such a great team.
That's what I like about what we do is that there's all the different kind of flavors. It all goes back to the same foundational things, but whatever class you're in, Tuesday night, Wednesday night, Saturday morning, whenever you're showing up, you get something a little different.
Yeah, for sure.
And it's nice that you've been able to experience class with all of them too.
Love every single one.
It's really great. I think I've been in everyone's class at some point too, or I've had them as a teacher or a sub or something.
Yeah.
I think, except for Liam. I haven't been in Liam's class. I'll make it happen. I'll show up on a Tuesday.
Great. He has that
drop
great
in.
laugh.
Yeah,
Oh
he
my
does.
goodness.
He's the best. It feels good when you get it. You're like, I earned this.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's encouraging.
Yeah, it's good currency.
Yeah, exactly. All right, Marty. So before we jump into things, I want to play a little three things. Have you ever played before?
I've played in class a
Okay.
couple times, yeah.
But you never played this version where it's personal
Oh,
to
okay.
you. I've done my research. Hours spent scouring the yellow pages, going through
That's
the
age
internet.
appropriate.
They don't have them anymore, huh? You can't get a phone book. No, that's just
So,
gone.
I haven't seen one for years.
Yeah,
No.
it could be a useful resource.
Yeah. Well,
But yeah,
I'm probably in one or two.
I think
I'm that old.
I'm in one. Well, at least the family residence, the home line. The
Okay.
home phone was
Yeah.
probably in
The
there.
landline.
Yeah, the landline. Yeah, those went away too, I guess. Anyway, No need to be nostalgic. Let's play some three things. All right. So I've got three categories for you. We'll just go back to back. These are personal to you. And, just whatever those first three things are off the top of your head. You ready?
Okay, I'm ready.
All right. These are three things. First category. Plants in your garden.
Rosemary.
1.
Orange tree.
2.
Sage.
3. Very nice. Next category. Your favorite musicals.
Oh, so easy. Well, actually, I'm really hard.
Yeah.
A Chorus Line.
1.
Hadestown.
2.
Starlight Express.
3. Very nice. Very nice. And last category, psychotherapist vocabulary.
Neuroplasticity.
1.
Dopaminergic.
2.
Coping strategies.
3. These are three things. Ooh, okay. That's some great answers. You were quick too. All right. Circling back to that first category, Marty. Why'd I ask you about plants in a garden? What do you think?
I would imagine because if you did some sleuthing, as I know you do, during COVID, I was one of those people who decided to grow my own food.
Yeah.
So I grew all kinds of things,
Yeah.
zucchinis, and I don't currently have all of them growing, but I do still have those three things. We have a host of citrus.
Ooh.
I often bring citrus to class to share because we have so much of it.
Lemons, limes, that kind of thing.
Lemons, limes, Mexican limes, and also key limes, palmettos, or is that what the big ones are called? I don't like them that much. They're like grapefruits, but they have a really thick skin.
Oh, yeah.
Grapefruit, orange, kumquats, tangerines, the mandarins or the cuties.
Yeah.
Those are really delicious. Anyway, so lots of citrus.
Okay, lots of citrus and rosemary. I mean, so anytime you're making potatoes, just
Yes,
grab
or
some
bread.
of that. Oh, yeah. Oh, rosemary.
Rosemary in the bread, so good.
Okay. Wow.
And sage also very useful.
Oh, yeah. That'll go in every. I mean, rosemary and sage, just put them together.
Yeah.
What would you say was the most difficult plant you tried to grow?
Well, I have to say, I have a huge respect for farmers after trying to grow my vegetables at all because between the grasshoppers and the aphids
Oh, yeah.
and the squirrels, everyone else wants to eat my vegetables before I get them.
Yeah. They all look so good, right?
Yeah.
It's
So they can all be difficult. The hardest one, I'm going to go with oregano. My oregano got pushed out by my sage and my thyme. They were all in the same, and oregano just didn't make it as much. So I think maybe it's weaker. Yeah.
Couldn't handle it. Time was beating it up.
Pushed them right out.
What can you do? All those Italian spices just fighting each other.
Yeah. Poor oregano.
Oh, so sad for oregano. All right, that next category. Why did I ask you about Broadway musicals?
Because I did Broadway.
What?
I did.
That's incredible. That's
It was
amazing.
An amazing experience.
Yeah.
Yeah, it really was.
Wow.
I grew up listening to my mom and dad's record albums, which were mostly musicals, and playing all the parts.
Wow.
Just in my living room,
I've done that. Guilty. Yeah.
You have? Yeah.
Yeah.
It's a great pastime.
Yeah, well, it's fun. Someone's got to sing them.
Absolutely. And you can play all the parts. You can, and then I saw Chorus Line when it wasn't the first musical I saw, but it was maybe the second touring company that I saw. And it changed my life.
Yeah.
I saw the first national tour because it spoke to who I wanted to be.
Yeah.
And then I got a chance to do Chorus Line all over the place. In Germany on a cruise ship, national tour with Donna McKechnie, who played, she was the original Cassie. And it just became, at Jupiter, Florida, just over and over again, Chorus Line.
Yeah.
Such a great show.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's what got you in. You saw it, and then you were like, I'm going to be in that show. And you were. You've been in a couple others, right? I think Starlight Express, I know Chorus Line.
Starlight Express I did that on Broadway. Amazing. It was all in roller skates.
Yeah, that's...
And we had a 3-story set.
Wow.
We did tricks on the, there was a 12-foot bowl. We did tricks on the bowl.
Oh, my gosh.
I had to learn how to figure skate.
Yeah.
Because I understudied the lead. And did racing and dancing on skates. It was amazing.
That's so cool. I was thinking Starlight Express and then Xanadu.
Yeah.
And I was like, Starlight Express, I think, holds up a little better. But
for sure.
they both had that charm. Yeah. But wow, just getting to learn all those skills in addition to like doing the show. You know, you're singing the choreography. It's like, oh yeah, we're rolling around for everything. That's
right.
So ambitious. Yeah.
Yeah. And the races, I took my race partner down once by clipping his skates with my skates. That was a good moment.
During a show?
During a show. When I had a pratfall in one race that I was supposed to do.
Yeah.
And then at another moment, I just accidentally took us both down. Center stage. Good times.
But memorable, right?
Yeah.
There you go. All right. So that last category, I asked you about psychotherapist vocabulary. Why'd I ask you about that?
Because I'm a licensed marriage and family therapist.
LMFT!
Woo! And a certified sex addiction therapist.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's amazing. So Broadway, therapist.
Yep.
Everything in between.
That's right.
Fantastic. Mother.
Mother.
Yeah, there you go.
Happy Mother's Day tomorrow.
Happy Mother's Day to you tomorrow.
I don't know when this is airing, but
in a little while.
Okay. Hope you all had a good Mother's Day.
Yeah, in the past.
In the far past.
Yeah. Not too far. We'll talk about it after. But yeah, this is future episode. Wow. Okay. So licensed marriage and family therapist, sex addiction expert. So I want to talk about those vocab words. Okay. So neuro-plasticity. I've heard of that one.
Yeah.
Got that one. Because that's like the idea that the brain. Now you explain it.
No,
I'm not going to. No.
You got it.
Because I know it has to do with the brain, right? Like the channels or the grooves in the brain, right? Like how they form and they can be reformed, right?
Yes, it's not so much the grooves, but the neural connections.
Okay. Between
neurons make connections, make neural networks, which are whole like systems, right? Like the highway system in New York. In LA.
Yeah.
So neuroplasticity means that we can throughout life create new neurons, new myelin around neurons, new connections between neurons, new pathways. So we can learn and change and grow throughout life.
Yeah, it never stops.
Yeah, neuroplasticity is our friend. It's a good thing. Yeah.
I like that. Yeah, your explanation was, I don't know why I even bothered. Those other two vocab words you gave us, second one had to do with dopamine.
All right, dopaminergic.
What is that? I don't know that one.
So dopamine is the pleasure-seeking neurotransmitter. So in a neuron between the cell body of one and the axons of the other, there's a little space, and the neurons travel from one to the other. But to keep it simple, dopamine is responsible for our feeling of pleasure, excitement, reward. And so when we do things that are dopaminergic, we're doing things that will bring us pleasure, excitement, reward. Like improv.
That's very true.
Yes.
Oh, okay. See, a good example there. All right. But, we're just going to talk. I'm just going to ask you a question about the brain, I think, instead. We're shifting.
This is now the neuroscience.
Yeah.
Neuroscience for the people.
Assume I know nothing. Tell me everything from the beginning. Last term, coping strategies. Give me an example of a coping strategy.
People pleasing.
People pleasing. Ooh.
Yeah.
Doesn't apply to me at all.
No, you wouldn't know anything about that.
Yeah, I've never done that.
No.
Not me.
Me either.
Yeah, I hope someone out there heard that, and maybe they can think about that.
Help
but
someone.
Yeah, not me.
Not me.
Yeah, and you.
No.
Yeah, and you neither, right?
No.
Yeah.
No.
I don't worry about that. Yeah, I'm glad we're both so healthy and well adjusted.
I am a gratefully recovering people pleaser. Yeah, actually.
Yeah, I think it's something I go in and out of, but I'm aware of it, and that's where you got to start. But that's something. There's work to be done, I'd say.
For sure. I mean, it's an adaptation, a survival skill from childhood that probably served you very well in childhood. It serves most of us well at some point. Yeah. Like middle school. Middle school is awful, right, for everybody. And so you learn that as a coping strategy, but then sometimes those coping strategies can become maladaptive, so they can get in your way.
Yeah. They don't serve you anymore, right?
Work on. Yeah.
Okay. Well, for all you people pleasers out there, again, not me, but whoever you are, listen to Marty. She's got some good advice. All right, Marty. So thank you for playing some three things. That was a lot of fun, and I got to learn some new things too. So thank you for that. Some new vocab words. Yeah. That was does that tie into my neuroplasticity, right? Because I made new connections. Because I learned some things, right? Growing and changing.
And practicing it like that will help your neuroplasticity. Like when you practice a new skill, you like teach it again.
Right.
You learn it better.
Ah.
Yeah. You probably know that because you're a teacher.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We do a little bit. Spend some time. Spend some time in the classroom. Yeah, that's true. Yeah, we do the I do, we do, you do, right? I show you how, we do it together, and then you do it on your own.
Great.
It's a huge teaching strategy. So, yeah, that's what we do. I think here, too, we do that sometimes in improv.
I think so.
Yeah.
I know in class, we almost always ask, like, how was that for you?
Yeah.
And we ask, the teachers ask the class,
Get the
what their
feedback, open
thoughts
it
are.
up. Yeah. So I always love that. How does it make you feel? Then you get to talk about it after. I'd never been able to do improv like that until I came here. It was never that, I don't know. They didn't give you the chance to actually talk about it.
I know, and that's such a special thing about IFTP.
Yeah.
It feels so inclusive and so accepting and so gentle in that way. Just really a lovely, inclusive place.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. Absolutely. Well, with that in mind, Marty, I want you to take us back to the first time in your life, and maybe this will tie into your Broadway journey a little bit too, but that you heard about, learned about, saw improv. When were you first exposed to it?
This is a tough question for me because I grew up in the San Francisco Bay Area. I think improv was sort of always there in the zeitgeist. Like I just think it was there, just like mime.
Yeah.
Like I remember seeing mimes when I was just a little kid at Ghirardelli Square.
Oh, yeah.
And I always associate mimes with San Francisco for some reason. So anyway, I just think it was around me.
Yeah.
But I never took a class. I didn't take a class for a very long time.
Yeah.
And when I was performing, I thought of myself more as a singer-dancer, and an actress third. So it wasn't until like part way through my professional career that I started thinking, I'm being asked to portray roles and characters, and I have speaking lines and things. I should probably take some acting class. Yeah. So then I started Meisner and whatnot. And when I moved to LA, I did take improv at another studio for a little while. I was still in the business at that point, and so I took out a studio where you have to audition, and it's super pros, trying to be the best of the best.
Yeah, get to SNL,
Yep, exactly. And they had like 4 classes and then company, and I got into the 3rd class, and about halfway through I quit, partly because my life changed. And
you had other things going on.
Yeah, and I decided to do different things. So,
yeah, definitely. Wow.
But, very different experience than here.
Yeah. Yeah. I imagine.
Yeah.
So going back, you had kind of mentioned growing up, right? You were listening to those musical theater albums. You're singing along to all the parts. So I think you had always had an interest in performing, obviously. Whether it might not have been improv, but acting, getting up on stage, singing, dancing. So that was something you were always involved in. And then you turned it into a career pretty quickly, it sounds like. Yeah.
Yeah, I was going to college and got a chance to audition for a cruise ship. And I auditioned and got it. So I put college on pause.
Yeah.
And went on this cruise ship, did a chorus line on a cruise ship and a review show.
Yeah.
And then while I was on the cruise ship, long story, we had taken it from Finland to New York to Miami, and it was a brand new ship. And we took it on its maiden voyage.
Wow.
But we were in Miami awaiting our Coast Guard drill, which no ship can sail with passengers until they've passed the Coast Guard drill. The night before the drill, I snuck off the ship in the middle of the night, stood on the Miami pier at a phone booth, called a taxi to come pick me up, and I flew up to New York because my friend had told me there was an audition.
Wow.
And I auditioned. It was for Starlight Express. And I auditioned, got the job, but I didn't know it for a week because I snuck back on the ship.
Yeah, you had to, oh my gosh. So you got back to Florida in time. Yeah. Wow. That must have been quite the night. Yeah.
It was a And then we did a week of cruise route in the Caribbean.
Yeah.
I got back to Miami. No cell phones.
Yeah.
We had telegrams then.
Yeah.
So I got back to Miami and called my friend, probably from that same phone booth.
Yeah.
Phone booth.
Get
I
back
don't
to the
remember.
pier, find the phone booth.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And he's like, "Where have you been? You got the job."
Oh my gosh.
So then I left the cruise ship to go
Yeah.
to New York.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's like, guys, it's been fun. I'm going to Broadway.
Exactly.
Yeah. I'll see ya. Oh
Yeah.
my gosh. That's an incredible story, just that you were able to pull that off too, like almost a heist.
Yeah,
Like, I'm going to
truly.
run up here, audition for this, come back. I'm still doing this other job. I'm going to be at sea for a little bit. And it all worked out. That's amazing.
Yeah. I don't know that you can sneak off or on a cruise ship anymore.
It can't be easy. Yeah.
Pre 9/11.
Yeah. Because I imagine the security and like even for the employees too, they want you on there ready to go. They don't
Yeah.
want you wandering off, getting in any trouble, anything. Yeah.
And I wasn't there for that Coast Guard drill. And that's a no-no. Like
Yeah.
my roommate said that I was sick in my cabin, but I was actually in New York auditioning.
Oh, good roommate. Yeah. Very good roommate.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like, oh yeah, Marty's not doing well.
Yeah.
She'd be here if she could.
And then I called the casting director back.
Yeah.
Tara Rubin. She was she's now a big casting director in her own right, but she was working at Johnson Liff at the time. And I said, they're not going to let me off the ship. They want me to pay for my replacement and my costumes and
Oh yeah.
and she said, "Honey, it's a I don't remember what kind of contract I was on.
Yeah.
A Lord B. I don't know what it was.
Yeah.
And she goes, "This is a production contract. You just come to New York, tell them you're very sorry. They'll be fine."
Yeah.
So she talked me through.
That's very nice of her.
Yeah.
Yeah. Can I coach you through? Yeah, because that's a huge moment, and you're like, look, I agreed to be here, but this opportunity, you can't pass that up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Can't be a people pleaser in that moment.
No, you
Right.
can't. No, you got to look out for yourself
That's
and
right.
embrace the opportunity you were given.
Yeah.
Yeah. Wow. That's amazing. Yeah. So, Starlight Express, boom, you jump onto that. Broadway. How long were you with that run of the show?
I was in Starlight for about 8 months until it closed. And then I went on tour with the Chorus Line. I did some other things, did Radio City, played Mrs. Claus. Radio City,
Oh, that's so fun.
other shows.
Yeah.
Jekyll and Hyde.
Jekyll and
other
Hyde.
things.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Okay. That's really cool. So you were doing a variety of roles, and being Mrs. Claus, that's kind of iconic,
It really
Just to
was.
say, yeah, I've been Mrs. Claus.
For 3 years, I was Mrs. Claus. Yeah.
That's
And a
fun.
singer dancer, too.
Yeah.
They have these numbers between when the Rockette numbers are.
Yeah.
They have other numbers so that the Rockettes can change,
Yeah.
basically.
They need breaks. And,
So
yeah.
they have singer dancers and the Santa Claus scenes. And
Yeah.
stuff like that.
So then you
That's
come
fun.
in, help fill in those gaps.
Yeah.
That is really fun. Wow. And for 3 years too. Hey, it's good to see you guys again. I haven't seen you since last year. You're coming back. Mr. Claus,
It was like a family.
Yeah,
We were there.
I believe it.
5 shows a day.
5 shows a day.
Yep. They had a little room. They had a big rehearsal room, all full of cots. And I would do 3 shows.
Yeah.
Go into the room of cots and sleep on the break between the 3rd and 4th show, and wake up and pretend it was a new day. And that's how I got
Oh
through
my
5
gosh.
show days. Yeah.
I've done 2 shows in a day, the matinee, the evening show, but 5.
Yep. On a cement stage.
Oh man. Oh yeah. So just great for the knees and everything.
Chin splits, knees. Yeah.
Oh geez. What? 5 in a day. I had no idea. That's crazy. I thought like 2 a day was normal. 5.
Yep.
I would also go to sleep and wake up pretending it's a new day, just reset.
It
Yeah.
works.
Yeah.
It
I think
kind
it's
of
the only
fools
way.
your brain into thinking, oh, okay. New start, new day.
Yeah. What else could you do? Because that's, wow. I need to sit in that. That's crazy. Wow. 5 shows a day. Would you do 5 improv shows in one day?
Yes, I would, because first of all, it's always different.
Yeah, that's true.
never do the
It's
same
fresh.
show
Yeah, you're not
twice.
doing that same choreography.
I think I'd be exhausted if I did 5 improv shows
Yeah,
a day,
it would be exhausting. Yeah.
but
Jeez.
so much fun.
Yeah, it would be fun.
Yeah.
Wow. That's just, my mind is blown by that fact. How do I know? Man, there's so much. Okay, so Rockettes, New York, Starlight Express, Jekyll and Hyde, Chorus Line. You're doing all these different things. You're working on your career. At some point, you make that decision to go from New York to come out here to LA?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. So what did that look like? What was that transition about for you?
Well, my husband at the time, my ex-husband now, is a Broadway orchestrator, and he was starting to work in film, and so he was starting to take some jobs out here.
Yeah.
And I missed California.
Yeah, because you grew up here. Yeah.
Yeah, I grew up in Northern California. I'd never lived in LA, but I did miss California and the sunshine. And
it's hard to beat.
Yeah,
Hard
it
to
is.
beat. Yeah.
So we decided to come out here, and I started to get back into the business out here.
Yeah.
Looking for an agent.
Yeah.
Took classes at Groundlings, did the stuff there, but then we got divorced, and I decided and we had 2 kids. So
Yeah.
I was like, I don't think I want to be a struggling actress and a single mom at the same time. And so that's when I decided to depart from the entertainment industry and focus on other things.
Yeah.
So,
Until now.
Until now. Yep.
Till now.
So I'm back in it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I just have to
fun.
say, Broadway actor to doctor.
Not
That's
a doctor. I'm a master's level
That's doctor.
clinician. Okay.
Doctor.
I have to correct you
Okay. Fair.
because of
fair.
my license. I
Yeah.
have to correct you if you say doctor.
Okay. All right. Well,
Yeah.
master.
Yeah.
That was
Sure.
still a very
Master.
cool title. Thank you, master. There you go. But I mean, that's an incredible pivot, I think, too, and just shows like the range. And you had mentioned earlier, I think, before we started recording, there's kind of a connection there. And if you're willing to talk about it, I'd love to hear about it.
I would be happy to talk about that. So, in order to be a good actor, you need to be present with others on stage. You need to be a good listener. You need to be vulnerable. You need to be able to have a curiosity about somebody else's brain in order to play a character and portray them. You need to have empathy because you need to be able to react to what your fellow actor is offering you. And so all of those skills are the same skills you need as a therapist.
Yeah.
And by the way, same skills you need to be a good mom, or to be a good friend. Like they're life skills. But so for me, it was a really natural transition. I had a friend who was also an actor. His name's Brian. He's a dear friend of mine. And he had made that transition from being an actor to being a therapist. And I was thinking about going back to school to be a nurse. But when I talked to Brian and he was telling me about his decision to become a therapist, I started peppering him with questions.
Yeah.
And,
Tell me more. Yeah.
and I thought, I think that's what I want to do instead. I think I want to be a therapist. And I talked to my therapist about it, and she was like, "You'd be a great therapist."
Oh.
Thank you.
Yeah.
So, so I switched gears and went back to school to get my master's degree.
I mean, the way you put it, I am a very strong believer in the philosophy that I didn't make this up, but one of my professors I once had, she said, acting lessons are life lessons. And I also think that's true in improv and, some other areas. And you just, basically what you said, right? The listening skills, the attention to detail, all these different things that come through. And like you said, how easily they translated to another profession.
I would imagine you use the same skills as a teacher.
Yeah.
When you were teaching.
I've had a bit of a, I'd say, struggle at times kind of figuring out my career as an adult. 'Cause, went to school for acting, tried to do that for a few years out here in LA, right? And then stumbled into other things. Was a teacher for a little while. Now I work in IT, but still a lot of those things, particularly listening,
Yes.
has been huge. I mean, now basically my job is to listen to people's problems, make sure they feel heard first, and then I help them solve them, right?
So you're set up to be a therapist.
I guess,
If you want another career change.
no, I don't. I'll stick to computers.
But you're right. It's the same skill set, right?
Yeah. Just different things coming up, right?
Yeah.
I'm installing updates, and then you're helping people update themselves.
Exactly.
Yeah, but it's an interesting thing, and I think, sometimes we do need to make that pivot, and I think for me, well, now I'm talking about myself, I guess, but a big part of getting older and kind of, choosing a career has been like learning how to. There was a time in my life where I thought I was a failure. Like I didn't make it as an actor. I never really got any traction, and I went to school for this. I think everybody thinks like, I'm good. I have a chance at this. But then I'm like, I look at my life now and I'm like, I think I've found a way to still implement acting and the things that I've learned and the things that I love into my life while still having a stable job. And, I still get to perform. I get to do things here. I get to teach people here. I'm very fortunate. And now that's something, like, am I booking movies and, going to red carpet premieres? No. Do I want that? I don't know that I do anymore. But I still get to perform and I still get to apply what I've learned in other areas of my life too.
And I have seen you in the improv shows, and you are absolutely an actor and a successful one. You're so good. Your physical comedy is also just stellar.
Thank you.
I remember this one show you like slid in. I think you were playing like the steward to some night or something like that.
Oh, yeah.
Like
Gavin, yeah.
Yeah. Just really, you're committed. You're good at your craft.
Thank you.
Yeah. So you are an actor.
It's physicality is one of the most fun things. So that's I always love being able to do that.
And I think
it's my favorite part.
Being an unemployed actor is overrated.
Yeah.
I think it's nice to have a stable job.
I had some tough years there. It was, I was doing Uber Eats and, Postmates and
For sure.
just trying to make ends meet, tax return to pay rent, whatever
Right.
I had going on.
Waited lots of tables.
Yeah. It's some things are easier now. It's like that Maslow's hierarchy of needs, right? It's like I got that foundational level a little better taken care of now, so I can be better at other things.
You're ready for self-actualization.
Yeah.
Top of the pyramid.
Yeah. So, whew. Oh, Marty. Oh, my heart is warm today. Okay. So LA, you make this career transition. You go back to school, you get your master's, you start working as a licensed marriage and family therapist. Very cool. Were you still during that time? I mean, you had a lot going on. You were a parent, you were working. I mean, going to school and being a parent. I went back to school recently and I'm not a parent. And so I don't even know how you did it. So I think that's incredible.
Yeah.
And you finished that career change. Were you still able to find time to do any performing, or were you just so busy juggling everything else? Yeah.
I sang in a choir for a while, and we mostly did outreach to Skid Row.
Okay.
Things like that. And I did, let's see, that was before I moved, right before I moved out here, I was in a vocal jazz group. I had 3 times when I stepped out of the business because it's not an easy business to be in, the entertainment industry. Yeah. So one of the times I stepped out and then I came back in, did some other work. But this last time I didn't, once I was out here and got, the divorce happened and I had to, it was hard. There were some hard years in there. I had to work really hard, go to school, and then, be a mom.
Yeah.
And they say of working mothers that you need to parent like you don't have a job, and you need to work like you don't have kids. And then when you add the single part to that, I think, it was challenging.
Yeah.
But also, I'm grateful for all the choices I made.
Yeah.
I do think that it ended up, I ended up growing and learning, and I'm really happy to be back with creative people. Yeah. In a community of creative people, because I have missed that. So that feels really good. Yeah. But it wasn't easy. There were difficult and many long hours in those years. Yeah.
I believe it. Because it's work like you don't have kids, parent like you don't have a job. Yeah. And yet you have both those things going on at the same time. That's incredibly difficult. But you made it. You did it.
I did.
Yeah. Now you're here. You're doing improv. You're back performing. I can relate very much to like needing that, almost a creative outlet, right? It can be hard. There was a time where when I was really getting serious about teaching, just, I was a middle school teacher. I was focused on that, and I wasn't doing anything else creative because I just didn't have time, didn't have the energy. And coming back here was a big part of like, this is something I need to be doing.
Yes, for you.
Like, I miss this, and this is something, I tried to be a part of all my life growing up and, high school, college, but something I missed. And now, I've been here 4 years, and I wouldn't trade it for anything.
That's so great.
So I'm very, very thankful.
It feeds your soul.
Yeah.
There's something about the vulnerability that you, and the vulnerable space that you're in with other people being vulnerable that is so nurturing to the soul.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Absolutely. So when you started taking classes here, I remember you mentioned you're like, your son had been doing improv. You'd seen a couple of his shows and you're like, wait a second. Well, one, it's like, I used to do that. I'm really good at it. I need to get back into this. So what was your experience like those first couple months joining IFTP? Did you feel a little rusty? Was it just great to be back performing?
Totally rusty. I hadn't taken any improv classes for 20 years or something. It was 2000. It was 99, 2000.
Okay, yeah.
I took before. So very rusty. But also, I never really thought of myself as an actor. I thought of myself more as a singer-dancer who also got asked to act sometimes. So so I don't feel like, oh, this is my wheelhouse, you know, I got it all figured out at all. Like I deal with self-doubt every day, which is one of the things I love about improv is that you confront yourself.
Yeah.
And so I was really happy to be back in a creative space and learning. And I just decided that no matter how long it takes, I'm just going to stick with this. And I know it's going to have its ups and downs. And there are going to be days when I feel on top of the world and days when I go, why didn't I have a thought in my head today? You know? And I'm just going to keep coming back.
Yeah.
And it's just been wonderful. And then side benefits of like a whole group, a community of people that are just so lovely.
Yeah.
Really very accepting place. Matt does such an amazing job. It trickles down from who he is as a person.
Yeah.
So inclusive, so lovely, so positive. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's great.
And I imagine too, I mean, you've been sticking with that Saturday time slot. Like you've been able to build those relationships too. Because that's, I think one of the fun things is that month over month, you know, there can often be like a core group that carries over in those classes, which is, it's really cool to become a part of that. You're like, all right, I'll see you next month. And then you come back. And I think that adds to the richness of the classes too, with those relationships, seeing those put up, you know, in front of everybody and how you can push each other with your feedback too.
Definitely. There's a group of us that has a little WhatsApp group.
Oh.
We go to coffee after class.
Oh, that's nice.
And we had game night. I had game night at my house. And, you know, we talk about going to karaoke and stuff like that.
Ooh, yeah.
But we've been talking about doing like a book club.
That's a good idea too.
Reading a book on improv and discussing.
Then you can talk about it. Then when you go to coffee afterwards, you can be like, all right, guys, chapter 7.
That's right.
Space work. How do we feel? Yeah,
exactly.
I like that a lot because that's one of the things. Like, I mean, it's a great advertisement for Saturday class.
Yeah.
When you're doing the weeknight, you're done at 9:30. Like, it's bedtime. It's a school night. You know, like you got to get home.
Time to binge watch like White Lotus and go to bed.
Exactly.
Yeah.
You can't dilly dally. No. It's dark.
Yeah.
But Saturday, you have the advantage. Like the whole day is in front of you. So if you want to spend more time together, you can go grab lunch, go grab coffee. So that's a ringing endorsement right there.
There you go.
All right.
Saturday class.
Marty's selling it. Marty's selling the Saturdays. So what are you thinking about, let's say about 14 months, right? Since you started here.
Yeah, I think so. About that.
How do you think you've seen yourself grow as an improviser in that time?
Oh my goodness. In so many ways. I don't know where to start actually. I would say the number one thing that I've noticed is I am okay to fail. I have never really, so it's so different being in theater and being in improv because in a theater production, as you know, you're a musical theater guy, you practice everything and you've got everything down to like whether your hand is like this or like this, you know? And I was really very much a technician. I was a swing often. So I would, like in Starlight, I knew 6 parts. 3 chorus parts, 3 principal roles. Yeah. So not only do you have the dialogue and the, you know, solos and but different dance choreography in the same number. So you have to know which different position you're in.
Every different part of it.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
Are you up on 1 and 3 or 2 and 4? You know, all of it.
Yeah.
So being able to free my mind to just show up and deal with whatever shows up because I'm so used to practicing and having it down. So failure in theater not knowing what you're going to say would be failure.
Yeah.
Here,
line.
it's a plus. Exactly. So here, learning to live in the gray space and just be okay with it, and start out with a point of view, a character, a emotion, and go with it, has been huge learning and wonderful.
Yeah.
Wonderful. I'm really still wanting to be quicker.
Yeah.
Part of the reason I want to do improv is I want to keep my cognitive abilities good and sharp as I age.
Neuroplasticity.
Neuroplasticity. Good callback.
Yeah.
Learning to listen at a different level, even though I'm a therapist. You know, when I'm sitting in the therapist chair, I'm listening for sure, but I'm also thinking, what would help this person? What techniques do I have that might help them, you know, et cetera.
Yeah.
And you can't really think that way in improv. You have to just be in it.
Yeah.
So play is also dopaminergic. Callback. And you get oxytocin when you're eye to eye with people. Yeah, serotonin, which levels when you laugh, you get serotonin. When you which levels your mood. So I mean, you're going to have to stop me because I don't know how long the podcast is.
We're fine right now. Yeah.
So many things.
There's a ton of benefits.
So many benefits.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, you just feel good. You just feel good. But there's science to back it up too, within your brain and with your body and your nervous system and everything, right?
Yes.
Like you mentioned, serotonin. I almost said melatonin, but that's for sleeping.
That's something else.
Yeah. But
That's good
serotonin,
too,
oxytocin, dopamine, right? All these different chemicals firing in our brains that are helping us, feel better, make connections, and benefiting you, right? Laughter, best medicine. There's science behind that too,
Yes, there is.
And when you come to improv, you have those opportunities to laugh at others, to laugh at yourself, and just to build these great connections with other folks on stage.
Definitely. It's cooperative play.
Yeah.
So much, so good for us.
Yeah. Do you think, kind of touching on that, I think play is something that's really important. And I think a lot of us, as people become adults and, as an adult, right, you lose that sense of play. Do you think it's an important thing to find, I think. I know it's, you have your job, you go home, you bills, all the responsibilities of life. Yeah. And I think adults, we're so quick to give that up. Just
so true. And then in the line of work I do, because I'm a trauma specialist, I deal with some really heavy subjects, and also with the sex addiction work, because I'm often working with couples who've had infidelity and betrayal trauma and compulsive behavior. So a lot of my work is heavy.
Yeah.
So it's great to have a place where I can just laugh and play and have fun and be free. Yeah. But I would say that just in general, life gets serious. We go through different, we all went through the pandemic, for instance. Life gets hard. It impacted so many people in a number of ways.
Yeah.
And so, being able to get back in touch with that carefree child part of ourselves is such a gift, such a wonderful thing.
Yeah. And even if it's just for a couple hours a week, it makes a world of difference.
You take it with you, though.
Yeah.
I'm more likely to be. I've always been a little bit silly in the kitchen and stuff. Like I'll do weird walks and things. I'm just kind of strange like that. Little character voices. And stuff.
I understand.
But I think I do more of that now. I'm a little lighter because of it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. It just kind of keeps you loose.
And I want that.
Yeah. Yeah. It makes everything more fun. Right.
That's short.
Very. And you know what? We got to make weird voices and walk silly sometimes.
100%.
Not just in class.
No, all the time.
Yeah.
At Costco.
Yeah. There's a character to be explored.
Sketch class.
Sketch class. That's coming. I got to think about that. It's coming up. Okay. Wow. So think about your time here at IFTP. You did that show back in February. Was that the first time you had done an improv show?
First time ever.
First time ever. Wow.
I was scared to death. I was so scared.
Yeah.
But so excited.
Yeah.
First of all, when Matt asked you to do something, we were just talking about this at coffee. I always want to say yes to Matt.
Yes, I do too.
partly because of what a lovely person he is, but also because like I have so much respect for him.
Yes.
You know, and I'm like, I didn't feel ready, but Matt was asking me to do a show. So I was like, oh, I guess that means I'm ready.
Yeah.
Which was great. It was so exciting. So much. It's actually in some ways easier to do a show, I think, because there's an audience out there that's laughing and giving you energy.
They're rooting for you. Yeah.
So in some ways, that's a boost and really a really great experience. I love coming to see the shows too, but I was terrified. I was pretty terrified before I went out on stage. Yeah. I never look nervous when I'm nervous because of all the
you've got the experience. Yeah.
But I was really scared.
Yeah.
But it was so much fun. I was so glad I did it.
Yeah, and then you do it, and you're like, okay, done, got that down.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Phew.
And I think it is almost a more forgiving environment too, because it's like it's a show, audience is rooting for you. Like they're there to have a good time, so they're going to make it a good time because they're invested in your success too.
That's how I feel as an audience. I want to laugh.
Yeah, it's like that's why I'm here. Yeah.
And I'm super forgiving when somebody else, when someone is struggling.
Yeah.
I just want them to like find their way out of it.
Like, you got this. You're gonna, you're gonna come through. You're gonna figure out the scene. Exactly. Yeah, because not every scene's gonna be a hit. That's the nature of this art form, and like that's okay. Yep. Sometimes too, it's fun when people struggle too. It can be funny to see.
It can.
Yeah.
It's can be the best moments, actually.
Yeah, we've all been there.
Yeah.
Definitely had plenty of duds over the years, but you get through it, and then you keep going. You keep doing the show, and it's still a great time.
It wouldn't be as rewarding if it wasn't as hard, right?
Yeah.
So if we didn't see struggles, I don't think we'd appreciate the really brilliant moments.
Yeah, when it's really special. Yeah, because then you can see, wow, this is what it can be at its best.
Yeah.
And you've seen what it can be at its worst too.
Yeah, and I have to say, IFTP shows, if you haven't seen an IFTP show, you gotta go. They're so consistently good.
Yes.
I have been so impressed with the shows here.
I think there's a Mother's Day show tomorrow.
Tomorrow?
Yeah.
Oh, well, a couple weeks ago.
Yeah, in the past. That's true. But I heard it was really good.
I heard that too.
I heard that too. Yep. I don't know how I know.
I can say that with confidence.
Yeah, I can too.
Because of the history of shows here.
Yeah, this is pretty consistent, I'd say. Good product on stage.
So it was a brilliant Mother's Day show.
It was missing, you know what it was missing? It was missing that Marty Simpson.
I wasn't in it. No, but I was in the audience. And I loved it.
And I heard about it. I wasn't able to be there, unfortunately, but I heard good things. But I know it was good.
Okay.
All right, Marty, I got a couple more questions for you.
Okay.
Then we'll do some improv.
Okay.
All right. So thinking about where you've been, right? You've gotten back into the improv classes. You've been here a little while. Are there any other things you're kind of looking to get back into creatively, right? You've been doing improv. Maybe you want to do more shows. Are there any goals, objectives, or just things you want to try? Looking ahead.
Funny that you asked that. And I don't think you had a way of knowing. Well, maybe you did have a way of knowing this.
I don't.
Okay. I just started back to voice lessons.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, because
fantastic.
It had been, I don't know, maybe 8 years or so since I really focused on my voice.
Yeah.
And
I think about the same for me.
Yeah, and it's like it's a muscle. So if you don't use it, you lose it.
Yeah.
And so I am now going every other week to voice class, learning songs from shows I didn't know and things like that, and just using my voice again.
Just working that muscle.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a lot of fun. Voice lessons are really fun, challenging, fun.
For sure.
Yeah. You can be in front of the mirror and then watching yourself. Yeah.
But so helpful.
Yeah.
So helpful. Like she has techniques that just, make everything fall into place. And so it's great to get back into the kind of understanding the mechanics of it.
Yeah.
And then also play, just to be able to play different characters and sing different songs.
It's fun to have pieces to work on.
Yeah.
Yeah. Is there a piece you're looking forward to working on in your next lesson?
There's a song called It's an Art from Working. It's the waitress song from Working. I've never sung that one before.
I think Working, I think of Studs Terkel, but that's a play.
It's Stephen Schwartz.
Oh, okay. I don't know that one at all.
Wicked. Pippin,
Yeah, Wicked.
Boswell, yeah.
Oh, I love Pippin.
Amazing, Stephen
Probably
Schwartz.
the biggest Pippin fan you'll ever meet.
Me too.
Matt hates that I love Pippin so much.
Why? Pippin's a great show.
I think I don't know. I think that the original gets a bad rap, but it's got such a charm. Ben Vereen. I mean, come on.
Love as the leading player.
Chip Sign, just a good cast. I love the revival as well. Huge fan of that.
Yeah, and it was good. I saw it on Broadway.
Yeah, I saw it. It came out here. I got to see it at Pantages. It was
saw it here too.
Incredible. Yeah.
Pippin's great. I did Pippin for 11 weeks at the Garbo's Dinner Theater in Sacramento. So much fun. What a great show.
Yeah, the music.
The music.
And the story too, I think, is like a universal human experience.
100%.
Everyone can relate to it. And I think the quest to find meaning in one's life, find what matters is like still relevant today,
Absolutely.
We're all still human.
Like you were saying, you're still kind of figuring out.
We all go through that, right? We try these different things.
Yep.
Avenues in life and then figure out what is really important.
Yeah.
Pippin. Matt, stop hating Pippin.
That's right. We gotta work on him.
Yeah, magic to do, Matt. Come on.
Maybe we'll do something from Pippin next cabaret.
I'd be open to that. I always love Pippin. Okay, so you're getting back into voice lessons.
Yeah.
You're working on a song from Working, Stephen Schwartz.
Yeah.
I'm a little embarrassed I didn't know another Stephen Schwartz musical.
It's more obscure of all the Stephen Schwartz musicals. It's not as popular, maybe, but it's good. All different professions.
Maybe need to check it out. Yeah, I wonder if that does tie back then, because it's different professions.
Mm-hmm.
Do you know Stud Terkel's Working? Because it's a play that's just a collection of monologues by different professions. So I wonder if there's some.
I wonder if.
Yeah, or I think it's a book originally. It's also then it became a play. So then maybe Stephen Schwartz said, "All right, well, we got to sing through this."
Could very well be that because it sounds like the show.
Yeah, I wonder if it's all like there's a construction worker, I think, and it's been
I saw it
been a few
once.
years. Okay.
In New York somewhere. I want to say like it might have been a Tisch thing, like an NYU thing or something. I don't know, but I saw it somewhere. And that's the only encounter I've had with Working. But I would bet that Stephen Schwartz's music is based on that. Sturkel?
Studs Terkel.
Studs Terkel.
I know.
What a name.
I know. What a name.
Studs Terkel.
Yeah, I believe he's the author of the original book. And then I don't know if he wrote the play as well. It's all getting jumbled now, but
Okay.
so maybe he met Mr. Schwartz, or maybe he wrote that book a long time ago, like before Stephen Schwartz was alive. I don't know. Oh gosh, I can't remember.
We'll find out.
Yeah, we'll find out. I have the book at home, so I should take a look.
Okay.
I have a mission. I have to go right now. No, I can't.
Done.
Okay. So one last question for you, Marty.
Okay.
Okay. Voice lessons, improv. Thinking back on your improv experience, and you already kind of answered this, so maybe this is redundant, but we'll hear it again anyway, because I know your answer's going to be excellent. Have there been lessons you've learned from improv that have made an impact in other areas of your life since you got back into it?
Absolutely. I mean, yes, so many. The fear of failure has been big for me. Like, I just have a shame around getting things wrong. Perfection. I'm also gratefully recovering perfectionist, which helped when I was that technician in musical theater doing
absolutely.
6 parts, right?
You have to.
Yeah. But it also can be such a burden. And as a therapist, when we're learning new skills, we often do what's called fishbowl exercises, where you're the therapist with a mock couple, or sometimes a real couple, but and then all the other therapists in the training are watching you do your work.
Oh, wow.
And then you swap out the therapist,
Yeah.
and everyone gets a chance. I always hated those exercises
stressful.
so much. And I would say now, after doing improv for a year, I'm like, okay, so I don't get it. So I make a mistake.
Yeah.
That was just today.
That's why you're doing the exercise, right? Yeah.
It's just today in this moment. And in the next moment, I might be spot on. Plus, you learn when you make mistakes.
Yeah.
And
That's how you get better.
I want to get better at everything in life. So I'm going to need to fail. So I would say that's the number one way in which improv has impacted me in the rest of my life. I think that translates to relationship too. That I have struggled with defensiveness as a coping strategy. Another wraparound.
I know that one. Yeah.
Yeah.
Again, not me, but no.
No, never. Ironic. But being able to recognize it's okay to be wrong sometimes. And what's most important is that you go in and you repair it as soon as you can, rather than trying to defend against it, is such a huge life lesson. And so I say on a personal level, being able to fail and just be okay with it and laugh anyway.
Yeah.
And just know, okay, next time I won't ask as many questions, or next time I won't, I don't know what else I might not. Next time I will jump into clap-ins, because that's been a struggle.
It's a hard one.
It is a hard one.
They're intimidating.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, and then I could go on. I mean, there's so many ways in which improv impacts all areas of my life.
Yeah. Absolutely.
In a positive way.
In a positive way. And a negative, no. Man, you're hitting some notes here. People pleasing, defensiveness, perfectionism. I'm feeling very like but I think it's a theater thing. It really is a lot of those things, because it's like there's like your director, right? You want to please the director, right? Because you've been given a role or an opportunity, and you want to make sure like you're doing well. You're justifying your casting, right?
Auditions.
Understudy, swing. Oh my gosh, auditions. Yeah, you got to know all those parts, and you have to be sharp, because you never know when you're going to have to step in. Okay, let's run it again. Marty, can you jump in as so and so? And that's your one shot, one opportunity. You got to be on it. Like there's.
And you just made a connection for me, because that fishbowl exercise with therapists reminds me of being the understudy who was stepping into a role and with a whole cast that's used to doing it one way.
Yeah.
And there you are. And you don't want to be entirely just exactly a carbon copy of the person.
Not at all.
You want to bring yourself to it.
Yeah, that's why you were chosen.
But then sometimes you'll get your fellow actors who will be like, well, actually, she turns to me this way.
Yeah.
Could you do it this way? That kind of stuff. So I think that connection, you just helped me make a connection. That idea that other people are judging me might have come from being an understudy.
That experience. Yeah. Because you're never going to do the role the same exact way. And what's the point? You lose your individuality in it. Yeah. And you, Marty, bring something different to the character than that other person, right?
Right.
That's what makes the performance interesting. That's why we rewatch the same shows or plays with different actors in them, because we like to see the interpretation that's different.
Right. Absolutely.
That's why, you can still go see Shakespeare, and it's interesting.
Absolutely.
I mean, also because it's good writing, but.
I've seen Midsummer Night's Dream so many times, but every time it's great.
Yeah. You got to see Pyramus and Thisbe. That's one of my favorite scenes. I want to see how they do it.
Going to Hamilton. Not Hamilton. Well, Hamilton too. I've seen that a few times.
Yeah.
But Hamlet at the Amundsen later this month.
Yeah. You got to see how they do it.
Yeah.
Such richness. All right. Marty, we've been talking a lot about improv. We've been talking a lot about musical theater. You ready to do a little bit of improv?
You bet.
All right. We're just going to keep it simple. We're just going to do a little scene. The constraint is that we're sitting here in front of microphones.
Yes.
And we can't get up and move around, which is a bummer, but it's always fun. I will give us a location and maybe a relationship, and then we'll just take it from there.
Okay.
Just do a little improv scene, and then I'll black us out when we're done.
Okay.
All right, Marty. So our location is that we are at the mall.
All right.
We're at the mall. And our relationship is cousins. Cousins. We're at the mall.
Right.
We'll see what happens. Lights up.
Hey, Billy, I got to go to Hot Topic.
Oh, come on. Look, Suzanne, let me finish my limeade from Hot Dog on a Stick, all right?
Ooh, you're going to get brain freeze.
No, it's more fun when you drink it fast.
Oh. Told ya. All right.
It doesn't hurt that bad, Suzanne. I'm stronger than this.
have to pretend for me, Billy.
Look, I want people to think I'm tough, okay?
I know. I think that's a coping strategy. My therapist talked to me about that.
Coping strategy?
Yeah.
I'm not coping. I am tough. That's why I'm doing tough things.
You're trying to be invulnerable, and it's not going to work for you.
You think this tough outer shell doesn't work for me?
I don't really think you're fooling anyone.
What? But no, I'm tough. I listen to AC/DC, Highway to Hell. I drink cold drinks fast.
I know.
I walked over some Lego bricks barefoot the other day.
I
Very
saw that.
tough. So tough. But
You're ready for Tony Robbins walking on coals.
Yeah.
Oh.
I'm tough enough.
But I think people see through it.
You think?
I think so.
Yeah. I think you have a point there, Suzanne. I mean, that's why, when you asked me if I want to come to the mall, I said yes, because I thought, what are some ways I can prove I'm tough while I'm at the mall?
We could go to Hot Topic and get your eyebrow pierced.
Tough. I like that. I like that a lot because, I think they usually use anesthesia, right? When you get that done.
A little bit.
Yeah. They put you under. That's what I heard.
I got to tell you, Billy, I don't think they're going to put you under.
Yeah, I don't need it. But like if they offered it, I might accept it.
But we could take one of your ice cubes from your lemonade and put it on your eyebrow first.
Okay. That's a good idea.
Yeah. I really want to get some fishnet stockings for my Halloween costume.
Ooh, yeah. Those would be cool. And you're planning early too. I mean, it's only May. I love that you're thinking ahead.
I always do.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's smart, Suzanne. Okay. Well, let's head on over.
Okay.
Wow. Oh, gosh, this is my favorite store here at the mall. I got to be honest.
Is that where you got the AC/DC T-shirt?
Yeah. What? I have to tell you something, Suzanne. I think they're a pretty good band, but I just listen to them because I think it's tough. That's all. I just listen to them because I think it's tough. But I'm more of like I like Bob Dylan. I like folk music.
Oh. This is a new side of you.
It's blown in the wind, And I listen to AC/DC because it's tough. It's cool. But I think I need to worry less about being tough.
You know what?
Yeah.
I think I'm going to teach you how to play the ukulele.
The tough side of me says no, but I'm trying to just be me.
It's what you need.
Yeah.
You need that like soft inner folksy person to come out of you.
And I don't need an eyebrow piercing. I'm not gonna get it. I guess I didn't tell them I even wanted it, but I'm letting them know.
Well, now they know.
Suzanne, you're the most authentic person I know. You know what your Halloween costume is. You're my favorite cousin.
Oh, Billy.
Because I've been trying to be someone that I'm not. And maybe, who said Bob Dylan isn't tough?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, Bob.
Yeah. Woody Guthrie,
Totally.
Who said those guys weren't tough? You know what? I like Ginsberg too.
Whoa. I like all the other folk artists.
Yeah.
Of the
Joan
60s.
Baez.
Joan Baez.
She's
thank
great.
you.
Yeah.
Joan Baez. She's awesome.
Yeah.
She was a totally tough chick, actually. Come
Very
to think of
tough.
it.
Very tough.
Activist.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So tough. Wait a second. So I can be tough just by being me.
Absolutely. And there's a toughness in vulnerability.
That's true. Suzanne, I'm going to ask you a question.
Okay.
Are you living in a way that's not true to you? Because I remember last Christmas when grandma asked you to sing that hymn, You didn't really seem into it, but you did it, I guess, because you love grandma.
I love grandma, but
I mean, I love grandma too, but
I can't sing the hymns anymore, Billy.
I mean, you've been singing those since we were kids.
I gotta come clean with you.
Yeah.
I was getting the fishnet stockings because I'm kind of more into goth.
That's sick. That's really cool.
I kind of want to change. I've been that church girl for so long, singing in the choir and stuff, and like, it's just not me.
Yeah. I mean, we've both been living like our true selves, authentically.
Yeah.
I'm not the tough rocker guy. I'm a folk fellow, and you're a goth gal.
I am.
Goth gal. You know what? I'll buy those fishnets for you.
Oh, Billy, you're so great.
Blackout! I was like, oh no. I had to make it so it wasn't just you helping me. I was like, I don't want to put you in a therapist role. I was like, dang it.
We're thinking the same thing. I'm like, we pull from what we know, right?
I know, but I didn't want to put you in that position. I was like, no, Marty. I was like, I'm going to help you too.
Thank you. I appreciate that gift. We did a little role reversal in a bit.
Yeah. Because sometimes I think it's nice to have a scene where just two characters help each other out,
Absolutely.
Not every improv scene needs to be angry conflict.
No.
Sometimes it's like, wait, these two characters, they care about each other.
They can like each other.
And that's true to life. Yeah, they don't have to be fighting and like getting to violence at some point.
Yeah.
I mean, those scenes are fun too, but even conflict in every scene has to break at some point. Someone has to give. Otherwise, the scene is tired.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Nobody wants to go to watch, improv that's just depressing and conflictual all the time.
I hate you. No, I hate you. And then it's just that for 3 minutes and then blackout.
Yeah.
It's like, oh, wow. Okay, next scene. Yeah. So that was fun. Thank you for doing that with me.
But the connection between people is important.
Yeah.
And I do think that's one of the things we go to see improv for is seeing the authentic connection between people.
Yeah.
And playing out little bits of life that we all experience.
Yeah, that's what each of us brings. That's what makes every improviser unique, right? My experience and your experience are different.
Yeah.
And we get to see little bits of that on stage.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. So, Marty, my last question for you.
Okay.
Any final words you want to leave us with today before we conclude this episode? Words of wisdom, thoughts, any other cool psychotherapist vocabulary words you might have, whatever that looks like to you.
Let's see. I think I'm going to stay on brand here and on theme and just say, be willing to fail big. Be willing to put it all out there. And whether it's showing up for your first improv class or whether it's doing your first improv show or whether it's just, another day in the stream of classes that you're taking, like be willing to fail and know that that's how you're going to learn. And, the discomfort of that is necessary for growth. So, fail big.
Fail big, grow.
Yeah.
Sums it up right there. Well, thank you so much, Marty, for jumping on this episode of the show. It was a pleasure to have you.
Thank you so much for having me. I'm honored to be here.
Absolutely. And thank you so much to everyone for watching this episode of Improv-ed, the podcast. As always, we'll be back with another episode later this month. Thank you so much for watching, and see you next time.
Bye.
Bye. Improv for the podcast was created by Matt Moore and Michael Lee Evans. Edited and produced by Michael Lee Evans. And finally, presented by Improv for the People. Interested in more IFTP? You can visit us at improvforthepeople.com or on our socials, such as Instagram, TikTok, Twitter, and YouTube. Remember, new episodes are released weekly. Thank you for listening. We'll see you next time.